8. Number 8 says, find the measure of angle x in the triangle below. Round your answer to the nearest tenth. Okay. In this objective, you're going to notice that law of sines and law of cosines are going to be mixed up. So you're going to need to determine which you need to use. All right. So talk with the people next to you about what do you think for this one, law of sines or law of cosines. Please decide. Why don't we do it after we do this? Okay. What did you decide? Law of sines, law of cosines? Law of cosines. Got to be law of cosines. All right. If you tried to set it up with law of sines, here's what would happen. You'd write down the sine of x over 7.4 equals the sine of y. There's my second variable. I get stuck. All right. So it is the law of cosines, and it's the law of cosines that's going to start with the side opposite the angle I want to find. All right. So please write with me 7.4 squared equals 5 squared plus 10.3 squared minus 2 times 5 times 10.3 times, I didn't choose to write this in a very good place, the cosine of angle x. Now there's some simplifying we can do. 7.4 squared is 54.76. Remember what I've said many, many times over here, we can square and add these, but this is one big giant term that needs to remain together. Okay? So we can square 5 and add it to 10.3 squared and end up with 131.09 minus, again here this has got to stay 2 times 5 times 10.3, which gives me 103 cosine of angle x. All right. For the same reason that if we had an equation 5 equals 3 minus 2x, you can't combine 3 and 2x. You can't combine these two together. Do not take 103 away from this. What do I have to do next? Subtract that onto the other side. All right. Those cancel. So 54.76 minus 131.09. I get negative 76.33 equals negative 103 cosine of angle x. What now? Divide by negative 103. Okay. And although I'm going to write this down on my paper, I probably would just leave it unrounded in my calculator. So, whoops, not a negative. 0.741 about equals the cosine of x. Okay. How do I get rid of a cosine? Inverse cosine. Again, in my calculator, what I'm going to do is, first of all, make sure I'm in degree mode. Okay. And then do second cosine of second answer. Okay. And that way I don't have to round till the very end. Because if I round and round again and round again, I might end up getting a wrong answer at the end. So 42.2 degrees would be my answer. Okay, round to the nearest tenth was the direction. Draw yourself a picture for number 9, get it labeled, and then again ask yourself the question, law of sines or law of cosines? All right, so this time we want to find angle B, all right? And angle B is across from side B, angle A is across from side A, that sort of situation, all right? Again, if I was going to do this by law of cosines, I would start with 17, or 17 squared equals 13 squared plus, oops, I don't know this side and I don't know that angle, I'm going to get trapped in that two variable thing. So it is not law of cosines, it's law of sines. And your setup might look like this. Sine of 27.9 over 13 equals the sine of B over 17. From there, I think the best thing to do is cross multiply. And again, I'm not going to type it in till the very end. Next, I would need to divide by 13. And what would be my last step? Inverse sine. And again, the danger of typing that all in is that you just need to make sure you're closing your parentheses correctly. Okay. Still degree mode. Figure out what a good answer to the nearest tenth for number 9 is. About 37.7. Okay, this one is also an answer in degrees. Okay. All right, number 10. Number 10 says to answer the following questions, refer to the diagram. It shows a triangular playground that is bounded by Main Street, High Street, and Central Street. Find the length of High Street to the nearest tenth of a foot. So High Street, I'll just call that little h. Okay. So the first question is to find this missing side. All right. Again, we have to run it through the filter. Never heard this was a right triangle, so only options are law of sines, law of cosines. See if you can decide. What did you decide? Law of cosines. Again, if I was going to try law of sines, I'd get caught.